Good day for you so far. I mean, the world wants to speak with you, right? It's interview after interview after interview, right?
Yes, sir. It is hot and sweaty though in California. That's all I have to say.
There you go. Cool poster behind you. That's Yellow Submarine era Beatles.
It is by the Beatles.
And where do the Beatles rank to you in terms of favorite bands ever?
Ooh, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I feel like they're one of the only kind of like bands that I've actually listened to. I really like the Hard Day's Night album. That's one of the first like albums I got on vinyl. So I don't know. I feel like they're definitely up there because my dad listened to them all the time, and so I listen to them all the time. Probably like one or two.
I was trying to figure out if the Cardigans were one of your favorite bands because, as a compliment, Frankenstein to me sounds a lot like Love Fool by the Cardigans. Nothing to do with that lyrically, but production wise, it sounds like a Tor Johansson album.
Yes, it is. It was actually funny because it got pitched to me and I really like just fell in love with it right away. But the thing is, like, what got me first is I was like, oh, this sounds like Love Me by Justin Bieber. I didn't like register Love Fool by the Cardigans at all. And then my dad and like my parents and like other older people that I know and just people on my team were like, actually, like the first kind of cut that was Love Fool by the Cardigans. And so I looked it up and watched the video and all that. So I like had no idea until it all kind of started happening and coming together and while we were in the process of making it. So yeah, but technically it was inspired by Love Fool by the Cardigans and Love Me by Justin Bieber.
Cool. Well, I really like the song Frankenstein. The phrasing in the chorus where you go every little like
yeah.
was that there when you wrote the song, or is that something that happened when you were actually recording it, the phrasing part of it?
So this one I actually worked on with a group of people, and so that was already written into it. This was one of the first songs that was actually pitched to me. And I was a little bit hesitant on that at first because I'm very like passionate about songwriting.
Yes.
But I was like, you know what? My team was like, can we just like show you this one song and like see if you like it? And I listened to it and I really loved it and I got to like do my own thing on it while we were in the studio. So that was already kind of there, but I mean, I got to sing it in my own way. So yeah.
You are multi-instrumentalist. Does all your writing happen on the same instrument? Is it always guitar?
No, it's different. Recently I've been writing more on piano. But yeah, I've done piano. I write on electric guitar a lot. And I first started writing on the ukulele because that was the easiest thing. And when I didn't know how to write or play anything, that was just like the easiest instrument. I was like, I have to learn this. So, and then it like went from there. So yeah.
Well, what was Backyard Boy written on?
Guitar. I was literally sitting on the ground in my room and I was just like playing two chords over and over and just like messing around with a melody, and then it just happened.
In the real life video, we see two guitars beside you. Are those both your guitars, not prop guitars?
They are both my guitars. There's like a gold one that's actually right in the corner of my room right now. That was the first one I started playing, and then I have just a Jaguar Fender that I got not that long ago, and I've been writing all my songs on that one. So yeah.
Well, I'm impressed with your guitar playing. Watching the clips of you playing on the Liam Payne show, what you're able to do while singing. Most people who are singing and playing guitar are just doing, open chord, G, D, C, and they don't have to pay attention. Whereas you're playing up the neck, strumming not the easiest chords while doing that. Is that a skill that you had to learn over time, playing and singing at the same time like that?
Well, the thing is, I feel like I have been singing for such a long time. It was kind of just like adding the guitar, and my parents got me a teacher, and he is literally the coolest person. He is like a jazz guitarist, so he taught me a lot of jazzy chords, and he just taught me a lot of things that are actually like really easy that you can like move around like all up and down the fretboard. And so I just like kind of learned those and ran with them, and they're actually really, really easy, but it looks like very cool because I'm like playing up on the neck. But I don't know. I really like the jazzy chords. I feel like it makes some of my stuff different when I'm performing live. And yeah, I don't know. It wasn't too hard. I feel like it was pretty easy, but I don't know.
Yeah,
it started
a lot of sevenths in there. I like the sevenths. It's good to see those in popish kind of songs.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So again, it's interesting to see, hey, this song might be a guitar song, this song might be a piano song, this song might be a uke song. Do you have a lot of songs written in general that haven't been placed on an EP yet? I'm going to guess the answer is yes.
Oh my God. I have just notebooks and notebooks and notebooks, like front and back filled. It's like insane because I've been writing ever since I was like, I don't know, ever since I could write. I feel like I was writing. I was just making stories and then making songs, and that's what I'm most passionate about. So I have like hundreds and hundreds, I'm sure, of just songs that will never get produced, and then some will. But yeah, I do.
Your bio, I think, said since 8 years old she's been writing. And I was wondering if you like your songs from when you were 8 and 9 and 10 years old.
I mean, they're very different. They are not the same as like, I don't know. I don't feel the way I did when I was 7 or 8 years old, but I mean, I look at those and I'm like, wow, there's definitely growth, which is great. But I think it's more cute. I would never release them how they are now. Maybe I'll do like an interpolation and turn them into something. Maybe I'll take the melody and like make it my own and rewrite it and release it. That'd be kind of cool to like compare versions, but yeah, not really.
So around what age are you happy with the work and proud of the work?
Like when did I start becoming proud of the work, you mean?
Yeah, for example, if you're not super proud of the 8, 9, 10-year-old kind of work, 2, 3 years ago, like when was it that you look back and go, okay, most of this is pretty good?
I feel like when I was like 11, 12, no, like 12 to 14, I kind of started really like trying to experiment with my sound because I was like, you know, I could actually do this. Like it doesn't have to be just a family thing. And so I just kind of started messing around with like what my sound is and whatever. And I feel like that's when I started to kind of find myself and what I liked in music. And I think it's always progressing and like changing all the time. But I mean, like I still think those songs are good. They're just different from what I would write today. So yeah, I'm not really sure.
On to the music video end though, we see you dancing in a few videos. And Backyard Boys, I'm going to guess improvised dancing, no one choreographed those moves for you?
Actually, okay, so my uncle directed the Backyard Boy video, and he's very like, I don't know, it was funny, it was very strange, but he would be like behind the camera, he'd be directing it, and he would do like the weirdest move. He's like, Claire, don't think about it, just do it, and I would just do everything he did. So it wasn't necessarily choreographed, it was like kind of made up on the spot by him, and then I would just copy him in like 2 seconds. But it's funny because I did dance ever since I was 3 years old, and I'm very curious if people think like that's my actual like dancing. It was more like, no, this is like very just supposed to be weird. So yeah, it was funny.
What does the video treatment like that look like? Okay, so Claire is going to do a bunch of dances. Is that what it is?
Basically, it was just like Claire weird dancing, miming behind gate fence, just like weird stuff. I literally just mimicked everything my uncle did. It was very funny. It was also like 100 and something degrees outside the day we filmed it, and it was very intense, but it was fun.
In general, do you like making music videos?
I do. I think it's really fun to kind of like I don't know, I imagine like certain scenes when I'm writing the songs. Like sometimes I'll like think of a whole entire world or a scene and I'll just write based off of that scene. So then to be able to see it come to life and like see what I saw when I was writing the song is pretty cool. But yeah, I like it. I enjoy the writing and like singing and producing process a lot more, but I still think it's such a cool part. I think it's a whole entire art form, so it's sick.
I asked that because a lot of classic artists in the 80s and 90s refused to make music videos. You know, the fourth album, they were still telling the label, no, I'm not making videos.
Right.
So I don't know in your case if you were going to say, oh, no, I love the videos. They're as much of a part of the situation as the song itself is.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I think they're really cool, but I definitely do enjoy the writing process more. But I still love the videos. Doesn't mean I don't like them.
And then, as I said before, the Liam Payne performances that you did is the first time that I saw you outside of the music videos. Who is it that's in your band?
I mean, we don't really have a set band yet, but in that particular one, we had Sam, who is a drummer who I've known for a really long time, and we're close family friends, and I love him, and he's just like the most positive, cool person. And then my dad was playing the bass, and then it was me. And so he was rocking out on the bass. He's a genius at it, so it's great. I don't know.
I heard you say, and my dad, and I went, that's not her dad. That's a young looking, vibrant guy who knows how to move on stage.
Nope, it's my dad.
So it sounds like you had, if your uncle did a music video for you, if your dad is playing music, it sounds like you've got a family that is not opposed to you having a long-term career in the arts, not the typical thing of, well, you could do that, that'll be fun, but be a teacher.
Right. No, it's definitely the opposite. They're very like, if you want to do this, okay, Claire, like we'll homeschool you, we'll do this, we'll get you in vocal lessons. Well, like my dad's producing all my music, he produces everything. So I mean, like, I don't know, it's very much the opposite, and they're just like extremely supportive. And my dad's also managing me, and my mom's actually kind of part-time managing me too. Managing me. Damn, that's
Who's managing you?
I just tripped over my words. I was like talking, I was like, that's definitely not right. But yeah, no, they're both managing me, and I don't know, it's just not a very typical situation, but I mean, I love it. My grandma was an opera singer. Like everybody's been very musically involved, and I don't know, I'm just very grateful for it. It's super cool.
Any idea if your mom likes to be called a momager or hates that term?
She's never heard it, but now she will. I'm literally gonna tell her that after. That's so funny.
There you go. So if I've done my reading correctly, the second EP has a release date. We just don't know when the release date is unless we're working for you or with you, correct?
Release date for the next EP is July 9th, I believe.
Now we know. I didn't do all of my homework. I got an A- on the homework. I didn't get the A+. Okay.
You know, you were so close. It's okay.
Do we know any touring in conjunction with all that? Because now everything's opened up.
Supposedly November. I'm pretty sure we have set dates and everything. So I think we're going down the West Coast and ending in New York, which will be really sick. So yeah.
With your dad on bass and the same drummer?
Honestly, maybe. I'm not really sure yet. I think same drummer. Not sure about dad on bass. If we can't find another bassist, he'll probably do it. I'm sure he wouldn't mind. So we'll see. Honestly, don't know yet.
And yourself playing all the guitars?
I'm not sure about all the guitars. I feel like I want a couple songs where I can like move around and dance and stuff, but I definitely will probably play a couple, because I mean, for like basically all the songs that I've done in the studio, I play the guitar on all the songs. So I think it would just be cool to do that live as well.
Now, you mentioned being homeschooled. When you're touring eventually in New York and Chicago, have you been to many of these cities before?
I've been to New York. I've gone twice. I remember going a really, really long time ago. It was after a trip to Iceland. I'm half Icelandic.
Wow.
And yeah, and then another time was when I wasn't homeschooled in like middle school. There's like the classic 8th grade trip to DC, and I did that.
Yeah.
And those were the only 2 times. So I don't know. I've been there, but I feel like I would have a very different experience if I went now, and especially if I'm touring.
Yes, you will be able to stay up as late as you want this time.
Mm-hmm.
You
Exactly.
choose that time. It's your name on the marquee. Okay. Are there any places that you're just dying to go to that you're going, that is my dream? For example, Japan, Canada.
Specifically for music, definitely like Asia. I don't really care where, like Indonesia, all those places. I just like know so many people who have reached out, and it's like my second biggest market, I think. And I don't know, it just seems so sick. Like it just seems like a whole nother world over there, and I really want to check that out. But in terms of just like traveling and aside from music, like I want to go to Italy really bad. I would like to retire in Italy. Once I'm done with all music, I just want to live in like an old farmhouse in Italy. That'd be so sick.
Well, that was actually going to be one of my next questions. When you look at all the numbers of the streaming and you see hundreds of millions of streams, I, as an outsider, don't have access to that info, but I was trying to figure out where your biggest markets are, where the song took off, if it was mostly the States or if it was Asia per se. And sounds like it was Asia.
Yeah, I mean like the US obviously, but like my biggest cities are all in Asia. So it's really cool.
That's fantastic. Well,
Yeah.
3 quick questions and then you're free. And the first one is, what was your first concert?
First concert was, I think it might have been I went to a bunch of like little ones that were like artists I didn't really know. But like my first like real concert was Rule, who's like around my age, if you know who that is. He's an Australian singer. But yeah, I haven't really gone to that many, I feel like. Which is strange.
That's interesting to see, what to do when you're performing live without having seen tons and tons of concerts. Because a lot of people, if they don't have a guitar in their hands, they go, what do I do? What do I do?
Right.
Not you.
No.
Next question is, do you have a TV recommendation you could pass along to someone who needs a new show to start watching?
I was just talking about this, how I one of the things that's kind of strange about me is I don't really like watching shows. I used to, but I just feel like I get stressed if I'm just sitting and watching something. Like I need to be doing something at all times. But dang it. It's I draw a blank every time I get this question. I don't know, maybe no, I don't have one. I don't know any new shows.
Cobra Kai?
Don't even know what that is.
That's kind of refreshing to hear when something that I'm a big fan of, other people don't know what it is. I guess it's inspirational to just keep reading and keep learning from other people.
I need to start watching TV shows because I've been getting this question a lot. So I need to have some recommendations ready.
I think it's a sign that you're focused on music and the craft and not watching other people's stuff. And then the last question I have, and this can include as much self-promotion as you want. It's any last words for the kids?
Oh, well, we got an EP, obviously, coming in July 9th, which I already said, touring in November. I don't know. You mean just like stuff that's coming up?
Yeah, I look at you and I say, well, that's a person who knew what she wanted to do from a young age. She did it. And here she is. So any advice that you could pass on to somebody who's thinking, hey, how can I do that too?
Yeah, I mean, when I was just starting to put myself out there, it was putting videos of me out on the internet, just singing and playing guitar, or just singing and posting something on Instagram. And it was so scary because it was just my friends and family. And you're like, okay, these are people close to me. I don't want my close friends to judge me. So it's it's definitely nerve-wracking, but if that's where you're at right now, honestly, it's never going to be comfortable. It's still not comfortable putting out music sometimes because you're always oh, what are people going to think? At this point, I don't really care, but when you're starting off, literally, it's never going to be comfortable. You just got to do it. You got to put yourself out there. You got to post on every single social media app. You got to tell your friends about it. You got to just hype yourself up. And I don't know, if you're passionate about it, just do it. But it's never going to be comfortable. It's never going to be easy, but it's definitely worth it in the end. At least for me, it has been. So.
Great answer. Well, I may be the oldest person there, but I'm looking forward to your gig in New York. So keep up the great work and looking forward to your next gig.
For you. No,
Thanks, Claire.
That's great.
Thanks. Take care now.
Paltrocast.